Hi there, and welcome back to Design It with Tammie Gibbs. I'm Tammie, and this is part two of the video. I'm sorry there was a little bit of a goof on my part, and part of the original video did not get uploaded. So I had to go back in, and this is part two. So it'll be broken up into two segments instead of just the one. So this is part two, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. And that one turned out a little bit better. It's got the Nordic looking icy blue bow, but it's still kind of holiday-ish. So that's how you can adapt that one. So let's do something crazy. So on an earlier, I really like these. And this was using the Dreamy Invitation style. So you can remove the pretty little cow out of it. And then see what kind of pattern, Scandinavian pattern we get. But when you're deciding which products to create or what types of clip art, now this one has got your evergreen and it's a little less Christmassy, but it's still a really pretty look. But when you're deciding and looking at all the trends and everything, think about how people are going to use the clip art, because if you're creating for other creators that are going to use commercial clip art, you want to make sure that you give them the items that they need to create with. So be sure to keep that in mind when you are creating your images to sell them, whether it's a pattern or an animal, or a cartoon character. You want to make sure that you are meeting the need. So let's think about what people would, if they wanted to do postcards or stamps or anything like that. Cows are popular, so that's kind of a good thing. You could do dogs. You could do, for instance, you could do different breeds of dogs and then put Christmassy bows or put them in a Christmas hat. And then, different creators and even individual DIYers would use those for postcard. You could use them as mock-ups for postcards or for Christmas pillows, like sublimate. People that have sublimation could make pillow covers with the breed of their dog that kind of looks like their favorite breed on these items. So think about a couple of different things. Gifting, like what are some things that DIYers could buy your clip art to create for Christmas gifts? So pillows, your hand towels, things that they could do iron-ons on those things. Christmas cards, Christmas coasters, Christmas artwork, like wall art. So think outside of the box and try to meet a need that someone else is not already meeting. So okay, so let's take. I'm gonna have to go back here to like my original one of those images, which I think was this one right here. Yes. Okay. So let's regenerate this one. This one is under watercolor portrait as well. But now this is an enchanted twilight forest. Okay, so whimsical watercolor forest, mushroom house, and then instead of sunset inspired hues, we're going to change that out with winter tones and see how that does. Because, when we're looking at potential Christmas holiday, we can even add Enchanted Twilight Forest in a Christmas scene. So see how cute that is. So now we've put this whole thing and turned it into a scene for Christmas. Just that easy using the playbook. So go back and think about your old images and like this one. Now we're going to go back in and let's just say we want to make this a different holiday. So let's do the autumn and earth tones. And we're going to go back in and now we're going to change this out to winter cool tones to the autumn burgundies. Okay. And this would be an autumn scene. So we're just tweaking it a little bit, but we can get a similar image and then we could go back and we're going to create like 4 images or maybe 8 images. And then we would have something for our, see how cute that is. So we could do seasonal. So how would you sell this? So you could take these designs, which are similar. You have they look like they would go together in sort of a card situation. So let's just say these are going to make cute little note card, seasonal note cards. So Enchanted Twilight Forest in a autumn scene. We're going to put a spring scene now. And then we're going to go back into our playbook and we're going to look for this pastel florals and spring hues. And change up that whole look by going back with here and inputting our now this would also make a really cute for somebody that likes I mean it could be any design, but this one in particular, I could do this one and use it to create a calendar. And what we could do is, for the months of that the calendar would cover, you would have spring ones with the spring months like March, April, May, And so you would do like 2 more, let's see, March, April, May for spring, where we would generate 2 more of those spring images. So we have 3 different images, but they would be spring. So then you could pop in over to Canva and let's see, Canva. And we could do let's just do this because it'll be simpler to do. We can go in and download one of our spring images and go into Canva to upload those images. And then what we would do is take this and we could put it here. Like that. And then we could create. I'm just going to grab a calendar out of here. And we could do, let's just do May. Okay. I'm going to use this one just because, um, just for simplicity's sake. So let's just, well, don't want to use that. Let's see, March calendar. You'd have to get the grid. I don't know why this is. Okay, so we would just be taking this piece right here. Copying it, fixing it, using it as our, gonna group that. Then we're just gonna carry it right down in here and situate it there. Ungroup and remove this. And then you can kind of see how you could work with that, making that into like a really cute calendar. Of course, you would take and make that the way you wanted, but let's just say we'll imagine that this is for March. And then you would just do it like this and see how quickly you could. And the thing about it is, once you got this done, some little outline around it, black, little drop shadow there. And let's see, the offset, transparency, there we go, March. Or you could actually do it where it's white. There you go, March like that. Or change the, I get carried away with the designs, but you could change it, make it really pretty like that. Okay. So anyway, you could take it into Canva and you could create all sorts of things. But, so here's a calendar idea. And you could take those images, which you create very quickly in Artistly, and then you could make up the calendars. Once you get it laid out, once you did the calendar portion at the bottom, then you could go back, you save that as a brand template in Canva, and then you could change out any of these designs. For instance, you could go back in, I did another design or two. Over here. Like you have, I did this little house here. So we could do it. And right here, what we would do is just, I'm just going to duplicate this one so I can show you how easy it would be to take and set that in there. And this would even be really good for Christmas gifts, because even though it has the different holidays and stuff, these would be great templates to set up, and it would already be done. They could print them out and could go from there. And you would just drag and drop it in there. Maybe move the name of the month over so that that is there. But these would be really cute too, to be little mini versions. You could even advertise them for let's do like a resize and I'll show you. So let's resize this and add, like, I'm just going to do this because we wouldn't use them at this size, but I just want to have a little bit more room at the bottom. So let's resize this. And now we have it like this. So now what we could do is you could even sell these locally if you wanted to print them out, or sell them locally to a business that maybe has a little DIY thing to it. And this could be whatever. This could even be like an advertisement, like the person, like a real estate agent's picture and their slogan, and then down at the bottom you could put information about the business would go here. Compliments of down here. So wouldn't this be cool to just take a few pieces of paper and bind them together? Now they make lots of different ways you can bind them at the top, the little spiral things and everything. So you could even do these for teachers and, give them for end of the year gifts or Christmas gifts. So there's a lot of ways that you can use your products if you give the people. The thing about selling clip art or any of your art, whether it be, like wall art or pictures that can be used for wall art and posters and, well, that is wall art. But anyway, your coasters and your sublimation for your mugs and stuff. All of these items, the people that are potentially purchasing them. Now, creators are different, but if you also want to potentially snag some of those DIY buyers, which just opens up your market larger, then you need to show those items being used for a lot of different things, like show a tumbler, show a sublimation tumbler, show a coffee mug, what it would look like on a pillow, anything you can think of that might spur the ideas. And then you can also use those ideas as part of your tags when you're coming up with tags, because you can, if it can be used for a gift, then you can put Christmas gift idea, or, Christmas sublimation. So you want to just be super creative, because it's all businesses now are fairly highly competitive. So you want to find those niches that are underserved and serve them, and you will make more money. So let's go back and we will play with just one more, possibly two more little ideas on how you can adapt. So what I'm going to do here is take this forward facing my fairy. I'm going to take this part of it, not that image, because that was done with something else and I don't want to use it that way. Let's go to here. We're going to go back into the AI Art Illustrator. We'll go down to this dreamy illustration. We're going to put our fairy in, and then we're going to try to adapt it as well. So, the made of moss, antique bronzes, vintage gothic luxury, all of that. So we can go back over here into our playbook, and we're going to choose the winter cool tones, and we're going to try to add those in. So instead of the muted gold and all of that, we're going to change it into those frosty whites and stuff, and let's just see what this does. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to experiment and use the playbooks. Use your imagination to, there we go. Oh, she's cute. And now she's a Christmas fairy. that turned out well. And we could potentially have Christmas fairies, the ice fairies, rather than the forest fairies. And now we have like a whole group of ice fairies. We could make those very quickly, and you have a new clip art pack. And that was pretty easy. So go back, pull up, in your folders, pull up some of the really cool, like for instance, here's some spring bunnies. So let's just say we wanted to turn this into, let's see what we can do with this one. We're going to paste the bunny. We're going to take the Easter part out. And see what we get. Sort of a little frosty bunny. More of a Christmassy little design. That'd be a cute little sticker. But that's kind of how you adapt, and that's kind of the way I do it. Kind of my little secret sauce, using old images to to make things a lot faster. It's a lot of fun to experiment with the images, and if you're really trying to come up with all of your let me see if I can find my birds. Sorry about that. My birds. There we go. If you're trying to do quickly a lot of images for Christmas stuff, you don't want to be bogged down. So go back and look and think. If you already have covered a theme or a subject, go back in, use the playbooks, and pull out some of those phrasing to get your Christmas designs and get a little jump start. So we've got a finch. We don't want that in there. Clean vector, and we're going to add the coloring here. See what it gives us for the watercolor look. I'm not even sure what style. That's a much older. Okay, so it did a little bit. Let's take this now, though, and let's copy it, and let's take it into that Art Illustrator, into this watercolor portrait, and see what kind of look we get. This is also a popular thing, like the finches and things like that. They make really pretty Christmas decor. There you go. So now you have the little bluebird. You could go back in and add the Christmas here we're going to play with this native art style. And I'm going to put Christmas artwork. Okay, so we didn't get much Christmas. We did get kind of a different look. So what I'm going to do is pull this into another one of the generators. Let's try this one. And we're going to put Christmas image. Remember that if you're not getting what you want specifically, move around the different elements as far as their order, because Artistly and any other AI image designer is going to do the same thing. They're going to um, deliver results based on your particular order and the way that they read that order. So let's go back up here. Let's cancel out. Let's go in here and let's try adding full-bodied finch standing on a evergreen limb. So maybe we need to add more context and not just Christmas there. There you go. So now just add a little bit more context, and then that is a cool image. We can take it and could do 4 of those. And then you have another possibility for doing a gift of a calendar or a gift of coasters or wall art images that could be framed. See how cool that would be? So you could do different birds for a bird lover, or you can do, like I was mentioning with the breeds of the animals, those are all popular for Christmas. Just think ahead and start doing some Pinterest searches for trending Christmas 2025. Start looking now to see what they are forecasting for December and for the holidays, and then start making those items now. I hope you've enjoyed this little sneak peek into how I typically can adapt my prompts and generate Christmas clip art and Christmas designs for my digital products a lot faster, from not starting over and from also utilizing the all of the different enhancements that are in the AI artist playbooks. And I hope you will take a look into Artistly if you haven't already purchased, and all of my links, my affiliate link for Artistly. If you do have a code, please be sure to try to use it with my affiliate code so you get the best price. I'm not aware of one right now, and it's hard to do the videos and tell a code because of them being watched at different times when maybe the code wouldn't be accurate. So check out all the AI artist playbooks. They are bestsellers on Etsy. The only one that you cannot get on Etsy right now is the Junk Journal one, and it is exclusively on Gumroad. But you can, if you're in the EU, you can purchase all of the playbooks on Gumroad. And I do have a code right now, which is Summer50, that'll get you 50% off any of those playbooks on Gumroad. If you do not if you're buying through Etsy, then my sales are always automatically applied to that if they're still available. And the 50% off for both platforms is a limited deal. So if you're watching this and it's not available, then I'm sorry. But for those of you that are watching it when it's current, then be sure and take advantage of those. Be sure and check out and subscribe to the channel, subscribe to my newsletter, The Creative Dispatch, and join my Facebook page. And until next time, happy creating. Thanks for watching.